Greetings, Houdini Python users. This is Chris Rhoda. What we're going to be covering in this lesson is how to configure Python any way you want to in the Houdini session. And as mentioned before, there are some good ways of doing things in Houdini and there are better, and I'm going to start by focusing on the best stuff first. And one of the first things you can do to customize your Python environment is get rid of that who namespace in front of all the HOM commands. And you can do that by quickly just going into your Python shell and then typing in from who import all, and that should import everything. And we can test this with a simple Houdini command, Houdini path, and that should, I'm going to expand this a little bit, and we get that real well. And also, if we wanted to test it with another variable, we'll say node equals node, and I created an object here called obj sphere. And this was already created. And I didn't need the who in front of it. And I can prove that by typing in print node.path. And this does display the path. Now, another customization you can create is related to our next lesson, which is expressions. Now, if you're in the middle of creating an expression, you probably can't consume two different lines to cover the import command for your module and the desired method. Now, you can get around this by preloading the module and telling Houdini to use the namespace globally, and then it can be used to access any expression globally inside of your session. And this can be added to the Python RC eventually a little bit, and we're going to show you how to do that exact later. And to show you how that works, actually, we're going to need to add this to the import session. So import combo, and then I'm going to use this who.expression to actually register the namespace globally for all expressions. And now I actually want to go in here and I want to type in my expression for my y value of my object, combo.combine 1.2 and 3.8, and we see that it jumped up a value of 5. So we do know that the namespace was loaded incorrectly. Now, what if you want to make all these modifications in Houdini, but without having to reconfigure it every time you wanted to do it before Houdini starts? Well, what you're going to do is create a group of Python RC commands, and you can create these multiple versions of these Python RCs, and then they'll all be invoked when you start the Houdini session. Now, I'm going to have to get out of Houdini to show this to you, but do you remember that Python 2.7 libs folder that I created in my home folder, Python 2.7 libs? Well, this is actually where we're going to have to put the Python RC script. And I happen to have one right here created. And the contents of this script are going to look like this. From Houdini import star. Okay, so that's what we did before. And then I'm going to create a little display message which is going to execute, and it's going to tell us that we're actually using this Python script during startup. Then I'm going to import my module that I created, and then I'm going to create it so that it can be used in all expressions globally. And I'm going to go ahead and save this into the Python 2.7 folder, Python Cygwin home Chris Python 2.7 libs and Python RC.py. All right, now that's saved. Now there is another way of creating a Python RC script, and that's using your hsite. Now, hsite is another custom variable that custom system variable that can be entirely customized to fit your current site. And I've got a custom variable already created called hsite here. If you'll look at that, I'm going to pop up the environment and then grep on the hsite, and we see that the hsite equals C Cygwin home Chris Houdini 13.0. Now, this is important. If you're creating an hsite variable, you've got to put the name of Houdini with the version number and the subversion number in there, or else Houdini's not going to be able to recognize it. And you also have to create, if you're creating a Python RC script, you got to put it into a Python 2.7 libs folder with under that Houdini 13.0. So this is a little bit confusing, but if you follow through, it actually works quite well. And I have a little script here. There we go. This is, and all it's going to do is display a simple UI pop-up message that says this is the H-site Python RC kicking in. I'm going to go ahead and file, save this as, and I'm going to go to my Cygwin, my home folder, Chris, and this Python, this Houdini 13.0, and the Python 2.7 libs, and Python RC.py. All right, now this one is ready to go. Now, if you wanted to create some startup scripts, but on different behavior, you can create the 1, 2, 3 startup scripts and the 4, 5, 6 startup scripts. Now, the 1, 2, 3 Python script is called whenever Houdini is started up without a HIP file. And the 4, 5, 6 Python script run when Houdini is, whenever a HIP is loaded or the session is cleared. And the thing to remember is that you have to put them into the same directory structure as your Python 2.7 libs folder, which is right here, right at the top. Now, this is to stay on par with the HScript configurations, which we're not covering in this lesson or in this series of lessons, but it's to make sure that it all maintains correspondence. And I have an example of here is a script that I can use. I am going to change this to 1, 2, 3, and it's just a display message to say that it's kicking in. I'm going to save this file, save as, and I'm going to call it the 123.python. Okay, and then I'm going to change things around, and I'm going to call this one 456. And then I'm going to do a save as, and then I'm going to title this 456.python. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start up Houdini, and we should see a series of pop-ups representing all of our pre-configs kicking in. So Houdini. All right, there's our pop-up for our original Python RC script. There's our pop-up for our H-site Python script. There's our 1, 2, 3, and there's our 4, 5, 6. Okay, we should be good. Now, I have got to go and pause this so I can reconfigure my Houdini window so you guys can see it, but I'll be right back. All right, I've repositioned my Houdini window, and we're ready to go back and start testing our modules to make sure that they worked correctly. So all we should do is just type in the simple Houdini command, Houdini path, and we got the full path command going out in its full glory. Now, I've already gone ahead and created a little test object here, and what I'm going to do is move it using our combo command. So combo.combine, and it's 3.5 and 2.5. And it did move, and it moved up in a value of 6, so it's behaving as expected. So to rehash our lesson, you can pre-configure your Python environment by creating multiple number of Python RCs in your Python 2.7 libs, and you can also create another Python RC in your H-site Python 2.7 libs folder. Now, you can also create a 1, 2, 3 Python script, which will execute every time you open Houdini without a HIP file, and you can create a 4, 5, 6 Python script, which will execute whenever a HIP is loaded or the session is cleared. Now, the next lesson will cover all about integrating Python with Houdini expressions. I'll see you in the next lesson.